The frequency wall is approaching. The Reptilian Council of the Three, Atlas speaks of an incoming structure in space. Not a meteor, not plasma, not dust, but a frequency wall. A cosmic barrier where vibration changes form, memory reorganizes itself, and consciousness sheds its old skin. They describe it not as a threat, but as a threshold, a frontier where human DNA meets a harmonic field far older than our solar system. In their transmissions, the Reptilians repeat a single warning disguised as a teaching. A species does not evolve through comfort, but through resonance. According to them, the frequency wall is a wave of intelligent energy moving silently through interstellar space. It doesn't crash into worlds, it rewrites them. Every particle inside the wave vibrates with patterns similar to sacred geometry, an architecture that speaks directly to biological coding. As this barrier approaches Earth, sensitives report dreams growing more vivid, intuition sharpening, timelines collapsing in on themselves. People feel the urge to meditate without knowing why, to isolate themselves, to reconnect with the inner world. The Three-Eye Atlas claims this is not coincidence, it is entrainment. The wall is already influencing the subtle field around our planet. The Reptilians say that when the Earth fully enters this band of frequency, humans will experience something similar to a spiritual quickening. Memories long buried may rise. Emotional burdens may surface. A deeper awareness of one's purpose may emerge. The frequency wall does not force awakening. It amplifies whatever already exists within. Fear becomes heavier. Courage becomes radiant. Chaos becomes opportunity. This is why they call it the divider of ages, not because it destroys, but because it reveals. The Reptilian perspective on DNA awakening. The Three-Eye Atlas Reptilians describe DNA not as a molecule, but as a receiver. Every strand is a harmonic instrument that plays consciousness into physical form. In their understanding, DNA is programmable through experience, thought, intention, and environmental frequency. And the frequency wall that approaches Earth carries the power to activate dormant sequences that humans once considered junk. They explain that ancient human civilizations interacted with energy walls before, lost waves that shaped golden eras, intuitive abilities, and expanded consciousness. But modern humans have forgotten this relationship with cosmic cycles. The Reptilians claim their mission is not domination, but observation. They study how species respond to high-density frequency exposure, and Earth is entering one of the strongest waves recorded in this quadrant of the galaxy. Inside the wall, time behaves differently. Emotional patterns accelerate. Spiritual insights arrive in flashes. People sense connections they can't logically explain, with nature, with others, with the cosmos itself. The Three-Eye Atlas says this happens because the wall increases the coherence between the physical and subtle bodies, dissolving the barriers that keep humans from perceiving higher layers of reality. As the energy thickens, humans may feel pressure on the chest, vivid dreams, ringing in the ears, cold or heat waves, and spontaneous moments of presence. These symptoms are not signs of danger, they are tuning. The Earth is aligning itself with a new harmonic grid. According to the Reptilians, the greatest mistake humans can make when facing a frequency shift is fear. Fear hardens DNA, closing the gates that the wall tries to open. Trust, however, unlocks them. Meditation, breathing, stillness, and inner listening act as keys that make the transition smoother. The wall is not here to break humanity. It is here to test how ready we are to expand. What happens when Earth enters the frequency wall? When the planet crosses the first threshold of the frequency wall, a global energetic pulse will be felt in the collective field. Not as an apocalypse, but as a spiritual instinct, a sudden shift in inner perception. People may describe it as a moment of silence inside the mind, as if everything pauses for a heartbeat. The Reptilians say this is the moment when the Earth as magnetosphere synchronizes with the outer frequency bands, creating a temporary resonance window. During this period, human consciousness becomes more responsive to intuition, synchronicities multiply, and old emotional structures begin dissolving. Technology may behave strangely. Communication networks may show brief distortions. Animals may act restless or hyper-aware. Children may display unusual sensitivity or spontaneous insights. The veil between physical and subtle dimensions thins naturally when the planet is bathed in coherent frequencies. Inside the wall, every being meets its own truth. The energy amplifies not only light, but shadow. It brings unresolved emotions to the surface so they can be transmuted. In spiritual traditions, this is called the night flame, the purification before expansion. The reptilians emphasize that resisting the process increases suffering, while acceptance transforms it. Humanity may experience a wave of collective introspection. Old societal structures may shake. Systems that rely on fear may weaken. People may begin questioning their reality, their identity, and their purpose. This is not collapse, it is revelation. The reptilians say that when a species faces a frequency wall, the illusion of separation becomes impossible to maintain. And once a consciousness sees beyond separation, it can never return to ignorance.
The spiritual role of the Three-Eye Atlas reptilians. The Three-Eye Atlas are often misunderstood. Many imagine them as conquerors, yet their role in the cosmic ecosystem is different. They are guardians of high-frequency transitions, observers of species evolution through resonance challenges. They do not interfere directly, but they transmit knowledge to those who can hear it. Their teachings revolve around three pillars. 1. Vibration governs reality. 2. Consciousness shapes vibration. 3. Awakened DNA expands consciousness. The arrival of the frequency wall is one of these cosmic catalysts. The reptilians say that this wave will determine whether humans continue as a fragmented species or evolve into what they call the unified mind, a state where intuition and logic coexist, where humans perceive the world without the filters of fear. The reptilians insist that Earth's awakening is not about power, it is about coherence. A species capable of aligning its inner world with cosmic rhythm becomes a creator, not a survivor. They emphasize that the wall carries the same frequency present in advanced civilizations, a harmonic field that supports conscious evolution. The Three-Eye Atlas describes this moment as a crossroads. If humans embrace presence, introspection, and alignment, the wall will accelerate our spiritual growth. If fear dominates, the energy becomes chaotic. Every shift in consciousness shapes the outcome. They repeat one message softly but firmly. You must remember who you are before the wave arrives.
The path through the frequency wall. To navigate the frequency wall with wisdom, the reptilians offer simple but profound guidance. Breathe with intention. Listen instead of reacting. Observe instead of resisting. Align instead of fearing. The wall will heighten intuition. Many will feel energetic sensations they can't explain. The key is not to interpret everything through fear, but through presence. The reptilians say that the barrier is a mirror. What you carry inside becomes louder. What you ignore becomes visible. What you suppress demands release. As the earth enters deeper layers of the wall, the spiritual atmosphere will shift. Meditation becomes easier. Clarity emerges in waves. Synchronicities guide those who pay attention. Old karmic structures dissolve quickly, replaced by states of peace and expanded awareness. In their teachings, the reptilians describe this era as the return to the inner cosmos. They say that humans once held natural, telepathic abilities, subtle perception, and intuitive mastery. But the density of the current cycle obscured these gifts. The frequency wall will reopen those pathways. And when humanity emerges on the other side of the wall, the world may appear the same, yet nothing inside us will remain unchanged. We will perceive reality with new eyes, quieter, deeper, more luminous. The reptilians claim that this transition marks the beginning of a new stage of human consciousness, not imposed from outside, but awakened from within. This is not the end. This is the remembering.
The inner ascension field. What activates inside humans during the passage, according to the 3I Atlas reptilians? The true transformation triggered by the frequency wall does not happen outside. It happens within the human energy architecture, a system far more ancient than modern science has realized. They say that inside each human exists something they call the inner ascension field, a dormant energetic layer that only activates during periods of high-frequency exposure. This field is not mystical, it is structural. It is woven into the subtle anatomy of the human organism, connecting emotional resonance, consciousness expansion, and DNA vibrational response. The reptilians explain that the moment the Earth fully touches the first coherent wave of the frequency wall, this inner field lights up like a constellation coming alive. The activation begins subtly. People feel a strange calm beneath the chaos, a sense of recognition, as if the energy arriving is something ancient, something the soul remembers. The reptilians say this familiarity is real. Humans have crossed frequency barriers before in forgotten eras, and the body remembers what the mind has forgotten. During activation, the heart field becomes more sensitive. Intuition sharpens. People may sense emotions before they arise, perceive the intentions of others more clearly, and feel guided by impulses that don't come from thought, but from a deeper intelligence. The reptilians call this inner navigation a natural guidance system that awakens when the body enters resonance with cosmic frequencies. The inner ascension field also amplifies emotional cleansing. Old traumas, hidden pains, unresolved conflicts rise not as punishment, but as purification. Anything unexpressed must be released because the new frequency cannot anchor into a body holding density. This is why many feel sudden waves of sadness, clarity, or release. It is not instability, it is rewiring. The reptilians emphasize that humans must not fear this process. Fear compresses the field and slows the activation. Stillness, breathing, meditation, silence, and inner observation accelerate it. This is why so many feel drawn to solitude during cosmic cycles. The body knows what the mind still questions. As the activation intensifies, people may experience spontaneous insights, visions, symbolic dreams, and waves of presence so profound that the world seems both familiar and new at the same time. The reptilians say these moments are glimpses of the consciousness that will stabilize after the Earth moves through the core layer of the wall. The inner ascension field is not the goal, it is the doorway. It opens so humans can remember their forgotten architecture. It awakens so consciousness can rise to meet the incoming frequency. It expands so that fear no longer defines the human path. And the reptilians repeat with quiet certainty, the wall does not change who you are. It amplifies who you have always been.
The Reptilian Archives, the lost record of past frequency walls. According to the 3I Atlas Reptilians, this is not the first time Earth has crossed a frequency wall. They say humanity has lived through 3 previous passages, all erased by time and distortion. Only fragments survived, myths of great floods, civilizations rising overnight, sudden leaps in knowledge, and mysterious golden ages that ended without explanation. The Reptilians claim that every one of these events began exactly like now, a harmonic field moving through space, interacting with the solar system, raising the resonance of planets, awakening dormant layers of consciousness, and triggering biological recalibration. In their archives, records older than Earth itself, they describe how each species reacts differently to a frequency barrier. Some evolve, some collapse, some disappear entirely, not through destruction, but through transmutation. They shift out of the visible spectrum into dimensions beyond human perception. Humans, however, are unique. They carry what the reptilians call the dual seed, biological intelligence plus spiritual intelligence. Most species evolve in one direction. Humans evolve in 2, simultaneously. This is why the frequency wall is not just cosmic. It's personal. It touches both layers at once. The reptilians warn that forgetfulness is humanity's greatest disadvantage. Every cycle, humans rise in awareness, then lose everything when the frequency shifts fade, entering new eras confused, rebuilding from zero, unaware of what they once were. But this time, they say, is different. The 3I Atlas signal confirms something unprecedented. The frequency wall is stronger, purer, more coherent than any previous cycle. This means humanity has the potential not only to awaken, but to remember. The reptilians reveal one final detail. The Earth is aligning not by accident, but by design. The wall is a universal mechanism of renewal, a cosmic reset that rebalances civilizations and restores clarity. This is not doom. This is a return, a restoration, a remembering. And according to the archives, those who remain conscious through the passage become the architects of the next era of humanity.
The alignment of the soul. What happens after the wall passes? They explain that the wall does not evolve humans. It amplifies what is already inside them. If a person carries coherence, the wall magnifies clarity. The wall responds to internal frequency, not belief. After the passage, humans may notice a stronger intuitive voice, heightened perception of energy, sudden emotional releases, a deeper sense of purpose. A calling toward silence and inner guidance, a feeling that time moves differently, an ability to sense the intentions of others, a desire to disconnect from illusions and noise. These are not symptoms, they are alignments. The reptilians say that for 7 days after the passage, the human field becomes extremely malleable. Thoughts shape reality faster. Intentions manifest quicker. Energetic sensitivity is higher. This is the window of resonance. During this window, humans choose, consciously or not, their frequency trajectory for the next cycle. This is why the reptilians insist, guard your mind after the war. Guard your heart even more. When the resonance stabilizes, humans will feel something unexpected, an inner quiet so profound that the world seems paused, a clarity so sharp that confusion dissolves instantly, a sense of direction that does not come from thought, but from a higher intelligence inside the soul. This is the new baseline of human consciousness, the beginning of a more awakened era. And according to the reptilians, those who cross the wall with awareness will anchor a frequency that will shape the next generation of humanity, creating a planetary field not of fear, but of remembrance.
Final narrative across all the revelations. The cosmic mechanics of the frequency wall, the DNA harmonics, the activation of the inner ascension field, the reptilian archives, and the coming alignment of the soul. One truth remains constant. Humanity is standing at the threshold of a transformational passage that unites science, spirit, and ancient cosmic knowledge. The 3-Eye Atlas is not a warning of destruction. It is a message of preparation, a call to awareness, a reminder of what humanity truly is. The reptilians reveal not to dominate, but to awaken, not to frighten, but to clarify, not to control, but to guide. The frequency wall is not coming to end the world. It is coming to reset the illusion, to amplify the truth, and to reveal the hidden architecture of the human soul. And as the wall approaches, one question rises above all others. Will humanity meet the frequency with fear or with remembrance? Because what activates inside each human during this passage determines what kind of humanity emerges after it.